I'm actually a little out of it. I'm a little under the weather today, so if I have a little tickle in my throat, et cetera, et cetera. So if anything goes bumpy, let's just blame it on that. But I appreciate you making the time, folks. Today, I'm feeling a little under the weather. Harrison, I appreciate you taking the time. Harrison Bryan is my guest today here on the Best Interview Ever, live from the Best Interview Dome, where all the best interviews take place or don't. But this is the Best Interview Dome. It's such a pleasure to have Harrison Bryan. Everyone give a round of applause to Harrison Bryan. I'll wait. Amazing. Incredible. Harrison Bryan is an actor. He's a puppeteer. He's a playwright. He's made musicals. He's done a little bit of everything under the sun that you can do in the theater. So maybe everything under the theater, or the sun that shines onto the theater. Harrison, what are you most proud of being? Because you are a man of many hats, and let's just get right to it. What are you most proud of being?
Whoa, I'm proud of being a theater artist. I think like the medium of theater is something that I'm proud to be a part of, and I'm proud to create inside of, and I love it so much, and it's a privilege to be in this stratosphere.
It must be a glowing privilege to be part of such a project like you're in right now. You're in Marcel on the Train, which is a new play co-written by Ethan Slater of SpongeBob and Wicked fame. You are Ethan Slater's understudy in this off-Broadway debut. Harrison, what is it like going to sinking your teeth in both new material, important material? Can you talk a little to the audience about what the play is about and why it might feel so important to be a part of, and special to be a part of now?
Yeah, it's a really special play. It is a play that is inherently theatrical and honoring the legacy of Marcel, who was the most famous mime of all time. I mean, he actually might be the entire genre of mime. And little known fact about Marcel is when he was in his 20s, before becoming a famous mime, he actually joined the French Resistance and helped somewhere between 70 and 90 Jewish children escape Nazi-occupied France on these train rides where they would dress up as little Catholic Boy Scouts, and they would ride into the Alps for safety. And he used his love of physical comedy and his growing artistry of mime and clowning to keep these kids calm and safe in these treacherous times. So the play is this beautiful love letter to the importance of humor in the face of tragedy and the necessity of laughter and hope in what otherwise is a very dark world. And so the play examines this true story in this theatrical lens, and Ethan Slater, who plays Marcel, is such a beautiful soul. And when he is not available to play Marcel, I step into this iconic role in what I think is a glorious play, and I think it's doing tremendous things. And
what's it like being the understudy for a role that Ethan Slater wrote himself for himself? It is a passion project of his. So what's it like? Is it a little bizarre to step into? Is it for you, is it mostly a learning tree moment where you get to sit under the shade of someone with that experience? Where does it sit for you?
Yeah, gorgeous question. It has been a journey of self-trust.
Please don't. Sorry, I need to stop you. Please don't objectify my questions by calling them gorgeous.
You're right. I was objectively objectifying, and I will subjectively.
My questions can wear whatever they want, and it's empowering for them.
There's another world where I say, hey, take it in, and really, embrace the compliment. But I hear you, and I'm so sorry. It has been a journey of self-trust. It has been an absolute joy to observe the passion and the love of craft that Ethan and I share, and I think he has been so giving in his love for the research of physical comedy, of Marcel, and we care and cherish this story so specifically that it feels like we're really on the same team. I think it's also really cool that he co-wrote it, right? So this isn't just the case of an actor and another actor playing the same role. He has been thinking about this play for 5 years as he's been devising it with his director and co-writer, Marshall Palet. And I'm the only other person who has ever given voice to this character. So when I do have... Other than him, right, you know? And so when I do have the opportunity to breathe life into it and say these words or put the choreography and the mime in my body, it's an opportunity for him to learn about the play. And so it's such a gift to be able to both observe and then also offer what I've learned in my observations in performance. So both of our, when I'm on stage and I'm discovering things, my successes are his successes as a playwright, and vice versa. His discoveries end up informing mine as well. So it's been beautiful, and I've learned a lot as both a writer and as an actor inside of it. And trusting, the self-trust thing has been about not comparing our interpretations, but trusting that both of what we bring to the table is unique and beautiful, and we share a lot of similarities, and those are highlighted, and the things that maybe are slightly different are also celebrated. And that's the beauty of any theater. It gets to be interpreted, and we're just finding our own versions of the truth.
And how does that exist within the rehearsal process? Like, I'm of course, well, maybe not of course, I feel as though he must get the lion's share of rehearsal time. Yes. And so are the pockets where you discover things that he's not discovering things, is that usually happening in the performances you cover for him? Are those happening in rehearsal and then celebrated, and then it's like, okay, that's the Harrison thing that Harrison does? Or do you discover things in rehearsal that then Ethan Slater will take into his performance, and is it just sort of like this symbiotic, amoebic living document, a little bit of all of that? Or
I think because it's also a new play, there's constant discoveries, and it's always finding itself every night. It's all data, and I think both Marshall and Ethan, as collaborators and creatives, are really wonderful at the intake of data and then allowing it to organically process. What I've learned about being an understudy in this amazing opportunity is all of the tools of self-directing that we learn when we're like self-producing or when we're making audition tapes. That comes really in handy here, and again with the self-trust, because there isn't a lot of rehearsal. Like, I've got one rehearsal with the cast on stage before I had to do it in front of a paying audience. That's a 4-hour chunk of rehearsal compared to the 3 weeks that they were staging it and building it together. And then you even add the 4.5 years where they were devising it and workshopping it. And so that certainly, the muscles of mine are not as practiced, but the advantage in the obstacle has been trusting the first impulse. Everything feels alive and new, and it's so easy to be present with my fellow stage actors and scene partners, because it always feels like the first time that it's ever happening. And that freshness is so exciting and electric on stage in these moments where I got the chance to go on.
And how do you lasso that energy in? Like, how do you prepare physically and emotionally for a role like this that is spearheaded and devised by a person that you have to be in waiting for, essentially? Have you talked to Ethan Slater about his process? Have you observed it? Are there things that you do that echo deliberately? And if so, or if not, is it important to you to differentiate these processes so that you have your own stamp on it? I'm curious about that preparation and process aspect of it with someone who you were essentially, of other than, of course, your own immense talent, I have to assume that an understudy is cast because of similar things that they are bringing and a similar type they're presenting as. So how do you walk that line? Is the process and preparation something that you're in collaboration with Ethan Slater as well?
That's I think. Oh no, the weather is under you. The weather is under. Save yourself.
Sorry, I'm just not feeling very well. It's okay.
That's okay. It's okay. Hang in there. I think there's a beautiful level of respecting the other person's process, and then also being there and being a supportive help when I would ask very specific questions about physicality. I mean, Ethan's done years of research on Marcel and has worked with several mimes who have been taught and trained by Marcel himself. So nugget, and so any nugget of truth or any specific physical gesture that I hadn't had time to really practice and put into my body, Ethan was very supportive in the minimal time that we shared together in between breaks and rehearsals to offer. I remember there was one rehearsal where it was just me, the director, and Ethan, and it was just us on the stage for an hour. And we went through the physical beats, and we sort of said, okay, here's where it lives in Ethan's center of gravity, here's where it lives in Harrison's center of gravity, like always in search of the truth in this body and this voice. And so calibrating that was something that we got to do sometimes in tandem, and other times happened on stage organically. Ethan was able to see my Sunday performance, and it was the first time him and the director had actually seen the show as a pair of writers. Like, at 5 years of working on it, they've never got to experience their play with an audience. And so that was a really great gift. And the night before, on the Wednesday that I went on, it was the first time neither of them were in the theater. And the play was existing
outside of them. Right.
That's right. And, like, what a special... so to have that back-to-back in my two performances was a moment where I was like, sure, like, we can talk about where our processes are different or where our process is the same. At the end of the day, this is a play that exists outside their imagination, and what an honor and a gift to be the first actor to embody it without them, and
a huge responsibility.
Witness. Yes. And so I tried as best as I could to do a ton of you'll like this, a ton of chakra meditation.
Okay.
Where I was activating my root chakra and my crown chakra at the same time before I would go on, because I knew I needed to be like rooted into the earth, but I needed to have access to Marcel's just vivid and often spiritual sense of imagination. And having both of those things play at the same time was the tool that I utilized to not totally just fold under this massive responsibility, because I do feel it. Ethan is sort of having an iconic moment right now in this industry, and I'm stepping in to that role, and it's not about acting in the shadows. I think it's about trusting that I'm also being elevated in the space,
right,
and rising to that occasion, and that just took a practice and some real mind setting.
Now, pivot a little bit. This is very serious work, very obviously a little bit surreal, but grounded in a level of severity you have to approach this work to. Your last project was a unauthorized Pokemon musical called Balls that used crude puppets. I'm just wondering... Yes, okay, you are absolutely prepared.
No shame, no dignity. Look at my balls.
So you authored that show, you composed music for that show, you performed in that show. It is not a passion project to the same order and esteem for you personally as this project is for Ethan Slater. How does it feel to like let the reins go of a project that is a passion project for you to then help rear and bring to life another passion project for somebody. And if you could just talk about how those two things inform themselves.
There's gotta be a way out.
Okay, hold on. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna take a quick step to my notes.
Wow.
Okay, just 1 second. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Stay on.
I'm staying on, and I'm gonna think about my sins and ways I can improve. Oh my god. I guess I can continue in thinking about your question as I'm speaking to an empty space. Theater doesn't exist in a vacuum like this part of the interview does. Theater exists in relationship.
Sorry about that.
To an audience.
So go ahead. We can finish answering that question, and then we'll move on to the next.
Yeah. I was definitely talking about how theater doesn't exist in a vacuum, like that part of the interview just did, but that it is always in relationship to an audience and a growing network of connectivity. So stepping aside from one project that is a passion project to entering someone else's passion project, I think is just, again, more of an opportunity to learn and fill up the cup of artistry so that I can bring the valuable lessons in one process back to another, so that when I do eventually pick balls back up, I'm coming at it from a place as a greater collaborator, because I think the collaboration that Ethan and Marcel share as writers, I really admire, I really respect, and I've learned a lot, and I want to bring that into my own collaborations and continue to make theater that is fun and meaningful and entertaining and delightful. I hope that they continue to feed each other.
You work on the more that you can do in theater or whatever art form you have gives you that perspective on your own work, right? I think that's awesome. That's great. I know you have.
I think it has.
That's great. I do want to move on to some other stuff because you have more than just this show as a part of your career. But if you're okay with it, I just wanted to talk a little bit about kind of the dark side of understudying. As someone who's experienced a lot of theater myself, just recently, the last show I saw was Book of Mormon here in Los Angeles, and the understudy was on for Elder Price, and he was absolutely phenomenal.
That rocks.
As a much younger person in New York, I would line up very early in the morning to get rush tickets to see Patina Miller in Pippin when she was doing that back in 10 years ago now. And I do remember one of those times, that little insert was in the playbill, and it said, Patina Miller's not going on tonight. It's the understudy. And so often, the understudy is, as we all know, a phenomenal performer, but then you also have to deal with that side of the audience that's like, well, we came for this reason. Have you had any experience with that?
Yeah, I mean, I have definitely heard some unfortunate stories of, like, understudies, especially understudies who are under a celebrity, and they're right by the curtain and they make the announcement and people are groaning and asking for their money back, and then they have to go out and put their soul out for these people or a lesser audience because people leave. I've been really fortunate in that Classic Stage Company has been incredibly supportive, and this company of actors are really just so loving, and so I certainly walked in with some expectations of uncertainty of what is it like to just sort of sit and wait for your turn. Am I going to feel like a supportive ensemble member? What am I doing to contribute to the play even when I'm not on it? And I think that's where the self-trust comes in, and that's where the the sort of selfless mindset of I am here to serve this company, and really offer myself to that mindset. I will share this anecdote that our stage manager said to me the other day. She said, especially in our current times with the post-COVID awareness of the necessity of understudies, it is no longer being perceived as a casting hierarchy. It is now a linear company. And there's many different reasons why you will see one performer go on versus another any given night. And we should embrace it as like a linear set of actors. Our director always says, like, this is not a cast of 6 actors, this is a cast of 9. And he's including the understudies because we've all, with our energies, have built this play in the room. And I am now really excited if there's a play that I love, to have the opportunity to see it multiple times, like a Book of Mormon, and see how other actors are bringing their own energy into the space. There's an incredible energy that bursts in when people are in the theater to witness something for the first time, and understudies provide that opportunity very often, and it gives the other actors on stage a chance to listen in a different way. And so, yeah, there is a darker side because it can sometimes feel like less people are noticing all the hard work, but the people who are noticing are really noticing.
Yeah.
And it's the people who stay in the theater and watch that performance, not the people who leave, that are getting a really special evening.
Yeah, because sometimes the understudy is better.
I mean, better, different. It's all.
What I'm hearing you saying is a little better.
I am not gonna say that, but I am gonna say that, like, again, like you're just. It's easy to root for the underdog, and in many ways, the understudies are the underdogs of the casting industry.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and I wish all my fellow understudies as glorious of a time. I hope everybody gets to go on, and I hope everyone gets to feel those special moments.
I'm right there with you. I wanted to... We mentioned balls a little bit, but you also have another piece of work that you wrote, a Hanukkah carol or Gelt Trip.
Yeah, the musical.
A little bit of a Christmas carol head myself, so always fascinated to see what people are doing with that old, tired, played-out story.
Oh, you're telling me. Yeah, part of the reason I conceived a Hanukkah carol is because I could not believe that in the frickin' billions of adaptations, we haven't had one for the Jewish community. And Hanukkah, talk about the understudy mentality. Hanukkah feels very often like the understudy of the Christmas season. And growing up in Brooklyn, growing up in New York City, I have never felt necessarily like the minority, but because of the large Jewish population. But of course, there is an endless amount of Christmas programming, even in New York City. But how are we programming in the holidays for the Jewish communities? And so it sort of made sense for me to maybe write a show that I wish existed when I was a kid. I wish there was a commercial, family-friendly experience that I could go to every Hanukkah, even though the lunar calendar changes when it is every year. I think during the season, there could be a Christmas-adjacent programming for not just me, but anyone who celebrates Hanukkah. So, yeah, this is both a parody and an adaptation of the original Dickens. It is fantastical, it is magical, it is everything that I think a good Christmas carol should be, but I also think it's a lot funnier, and there's a ton of music and songs and giddiness in this Gelt Trip that our young protagonist Chava Knipschen goes on to rediscover the meaning of Hanukkah.
Beautiful. I mean, you do wonder why there isn't an adaptation for almost every single thing with this story, purely from a financial perspective. There's money being left on the table here, right?
As a Jewish author, I'm not going to focus on the money left on the table. But I hear you, and I can't wait for as many people to see this show when it's ready to enter the space.
That's awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it, and yeah, seeing what else can we juice out of this story.
Yeah.
Let's say that was intentional or not.
Let's just say.
What's going to get me, Nic Guastella, in less trouble?
It's time that Charles Dickens got circumcised. It's long overdue.
You heard it here first, folks. I do want to ask you about Broadway Shark Tank. You were the winner of Broadway Shark Tank, right?
That's right. Yeah, we pitched the show in a contest called Broadway Shark Tank, where we were told that the Broadway producers would get 8 minutes for us to pitch the show, and then at the end of that 8 minutes, the audience would vote for their favorite pitch, and the audience voted for a Hanukkah Carol, and we're actually working with two of those producers right now who were the sharks at that event. And they currently hold the option to the piece, and we're really excited to develop it with them. It was really funny, because like Shark Tank is such a trope of television, and for us to have the like theatrical version of it was really cute.
Did they make you do the whole bit? You did. What do they say? Like, good morning, sharks. What do they say at the beginning?
Good morning, sharks, and then I'll give you 20% for 50,000 shares of your nothing. But no, it wasn't quite like they're gonna bid on our show. I think it was an opportunity to practice a pitch, and we were told beforehand, like, don't expect this to be like a real Shark Tank. Like, these producers have like no responsibility to set up a meeting with you after, but I think they saw the value in Hanukkah Carol. I think they saw the uniqueness and the charm and the commercial viability, hopefully, and it was a really awesome pitch. We had a fiddler on the roof and make a cameo appearance, literally like on a roof. It was very cool, and I think we charmed the pants off of people. It was really fun.
Incredible. So you won Broadway Shark Tank. Do you think you would win Broadway Survivor?
I think I've collected a bunch of different multi-hyphenate skills at this point, so I do think like my adaptability and the multifaceted toolkit of a theater artist that I've accumulated, now that I'm adding mime to the toolkit as well, I think I could probably help people in the contests and the competitions. I think I would have like a pretty good social game, and I think generally, as someone who's 5'7", I'm underestimated, and I think
can fit in small spaces.
That goes a long way in these games. So I think I'd be good at it. I'd be curious.
Yeah,
I don't know. You got an island that doesn't have any weirdness on it?
Please don't ask me about my island.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like I think Willy Loman can't stop lying. And that's because he feels the need to be right, and there's a clown in there. Are you also goodbye?
It's exhausting. It's a full-time job.
Okay, yeah.
Be right back.
I'll continue to talk into the void here. I gotta tell you, this has been a lot more thoughtful than I expected. It was pitched to me as the best interview, and I've actually been doing a lot more thinking. It's been a lot more profound. I didn't expect it. I'm impressed, and I'm tickled, and I'm honored. And Nic, you're back.
What are you talking about?
I was just talking about how, like, I guess I didn't expect to get so deep on this. It's cool. It's cool.
No, I know, but I never left. What are you talking
about? I wasn't just talking to.
You were talking to the role of Nic.
Oh, wow. Was that your understudy I was talking to? You're actually the same person. All right, I'll roll with it. Well then, great. Then you know what I was talking about because you were right here.
Yeah. And I'm so happy to have tickled.
Okay,
tickled you.
I feel tabled, and I feel
tabled.
I feel tabled and chaired.
In what way? What is
I've
that? Tabled?
tickled?
I said tickled. I'm happy to have
oh.
tickled you. Because you said I've tickled
Yes.
you. So I'm happy to do that.
Oh, ow.
Do you have anything to say to your audience? Anything you'd like to plug before I let you go? And you're out of the chat. You've left the chat. So it was your internet that was bad this whole time. Because you're gone. He literally left. Is there any better ending? I don't know. I'm going to wait a little longer to see if he joins again. But if this is how this story ends, then let it be known that the show always must go on until it can't go on no more. I do see the light. I'm going to walk into it now. Because, as I've stated many times during this broadcast, just feeling a little under the weather. I'm Nic Guastella. Until next time, be better. This has been the best interview ever. Until next time, be better. This has been the best interview ever. Until next time, be better. Be better, everyone. This is Nic Guastella. Until next time, this is the best interview ever. Signing off now. It's Nic Guastella for the best interview ever. Thank you so much. Be better. As always, as ever, be better. This is Nic Guastella wearing a sweater.
The Dome.